I saw a post on social media today where somebody was asking about what types of processing gear they should be looking at to add to their mobile DJ system. They're talking about things like maybe a DBX drive rack or a sonic maximizer or a compressor or something. And it got me thinking about the modern DJ system that most of us are using now. Most of us are doing something computer based with maybe a software like Virtual DJ or Serato. We're using MIDI mixers and controllers and powered speakers that some have DSP menus built into them. So things have come a long way. It's not like we're trying to do this unholy marriage of home audio and pro audio anymore, where we're mixing things like RCA cables and XLR cables. Nah, we've come a long way. And I think if you're unhappy with the way your system sounds, adding processing gear to it might not be the answer. Before you do that, I've got some suggestions. First thing is, make sure you've got everything set up right, because this can be tricky. Make sure your powered speaker is set up right. If you've got a DSP menu in there, play around with some stuff and try some different things with your gain structure on that. Same thing with your mixing board. People talk about the unity setting or hitting 0 dB on your output signal as the max output that you're going to throw at your speakers. I do that. It really cleans up the sound. If you don't know how to do that, do a little research. There's some videos out there on it. I've done some videos on it. It might help you out. And the other thing might be the quality of your files that you're playing through your software. I do it all the time. I'm at an event, I throw a song on that I haven't played in many, many years, and it turns out I ripped it in at a low bit rate, and you can hear it. It doesn't sound very good. What I'll do is I'll make a note of that song, and I'll come home, I'll either re-rip the CD, or I'll download the track off of Amazon and get a better version of it at least 320K. I think that's pretty good for MP3, and it sounds pretty good through my system. But, make sure that not only is your stuff set up right, but you're running clean files. Now, beyond that, if you still don't like the way your system sounds, have a look at the components on your system, like your speakers and whatever kind of mixing board or controller you're using. Are you using something that's pro audio, or are you using something that's budget and more geared towards the hobbyist? People make this mistake a lot. And I understand that you want to do things on a budget. Everybody has a budget. But I think the least we can do is even make our budget stuff sound as good as possible by setting it up as well as we can. And if it still doesn't sound good enough for you, it might be time to start looking at what the weak link is in your system and what you can do about replacing that. Instead of dumping a few $100s into something like a DBX drive rack, maybe you want to take that money and get yourself a better MIDI mixer, or maybe invest in some speakers that are a little better than what you've got. You don't have to go super high-end stuff. I'm not suggesting that. I'm just suggesting not going the ultra budget stuff. But yeah, as long as your stuff is set up right, it should sound good. I don't think the answer today should be all of this external processing gear. It just kind of puts a band-aid on a tumor. There's a problem there and it needs to be addressed. If everything is set up right and your stuff is relatively good, it should sound just fine. So anyway, that's my take on it. Just my 2 cents. If you got any questions, answers, whatever, let me know in the comment section. And I will say that there are people out there who will have a very different opinion than I have. There are folks out there who are big believers in things like DBX drive racks with the mic on it to set the room up. I'm just giving you my opinion today. I use something like the DBX Go rack for a compressor for my microphone, but that's before it hits my mixing board. See what I mean? It's not the main signal being processed. It's my microphone being processed. It's a little different. It's an instrument, like a guitar or a keyboard or something. It's not my main signal with pre-recorded audio files. So, yeah, if you have a different opinion, that's totally cool. I'm just giving you mine today because I can tell you from experience, if everything's set up right and everything is relatively decent from your files to your equipment, everything should sound good, and I don't believe your answer should be any processing gear. So anyway, I'm done. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Practice and enjoy.